everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Home Run Alley, Meet the Coaches. To my left here is the head baseball coach, Bobby Garza. Bobby, how you doing today?
Doing well, doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the people who don't know you, kind of tell us a little about yourself, your coaching experience, kind of how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, I was very fortunate when I got done playing baseball at Dallas Baptist University that I was able to stick around and coach there for a year and got to experience a really cool atmosphere, really get my feet wet a little bit into coaching. And then from there I went to Northwood University with Jeremy Kennedy down in Cedar Hill, Texas. And we kind of worked to change that program around and get things going back to what it once was. And 2013 we went to the NAI World Series. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then in 2014 the school decided they wanted to shut down. And I got a phone call to come on over here. So we've been here and we've been rooted here. My wife and I have been rooted here. We've had our daughter was born a Texas Wesleyan Ram, and here we are 10 years later.
I love that, yeah. So obviously this is year 8 for you now. So kind of what's been the biggest difference between right now and year 1?
Probably more so patience of just kind of, when I first got here, I wanted to conquer the world and change this and do this and implement these type things within our baseball program. However, it takes time, right? It takes time to do things, especially if you want things done the right way. And so basically what we did is try to create a little bit more patience in what we were trying to do. And now what I've learned from Kelly Shopik, what their coaches did from a daily plan situation is they save things over and over and over to be able to utilize them for the next year. Practice plans, ideas, thoughts, stuff like that. So basically it's kind of running itself now, and we do a little bit of adjustments here and there.
Nice, awesome. So obviously last year you got 27-20. So kind of what's your focus going into this past offseason, going into this year?
Yeah, I think our biggest thing that we worked on this year and what we talked about was just trying to stay healthy in anything and everything that we did. So last year's group, we had a lot of injuries, a lot of freak injuries. We've had 3 broken hands. We had pitchers go down. We had a pitcher slip on the mound and fell on his arm, and he wound up being out for the season. We had pulled hamstrings. So it really was a tough year for us last year. It got to the point where we even went to the football team and said, hey, can we borrow a few players, right? So it was a rough season last year from an injury standpoint. So our goal, our mindset is let's get to day 1. Let's get to the opening day. Let's be healthy and let's stay healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. So like we mentioned your record last year, coming into this year, already 10-1, hot start. So has that changed any of the expectations you had going into it? Is there kind of a heightened sense of that, or is it kind of just same focus since the beginning?
Yeah, it's the same focus every year that we've had, since we've been here, is we want an opportunity to go compete for a conference championship. We want an opportunity to compete for an opening round championship, and we want an opportunity to go to Lewiston. So we feel like those are things that we can obtain that are in our sights. So we continue to work towards those things, and as long as we're here, that'll always be our focus on the field. Off the field, it'll be continuing to get our players graduated and working to have a high team GPA, which we were fortunate this year to have one of the highest team GPAs this year than we've had really since I've been here. Oh,
awesome, nice. So kind of going along those lines, you just came off the Texas Roundup in which you played Midland University and the University of Houston Victoria. You go 3-1. Kind of tell us about how that weekend panned out for you, kind of what you saw, good and bad, kind of thing like that.
Sure. So we knew bringing in Midland University in Houston Victoria, the whole Texas Roundup was designed to be competitive, not just for us, but for other teams. So we knew we were going to have 4 games where it was going to be a battle. We've enjoyed having Midland come down and be a part of this, and I've got to know Shea really well, their head coach. And then Stavino I've known for years, so he's done a really good job at Victoria and putting them on the map. So we knew going into this weekend it was going to be 2 tough teams, 4 solid games, and our goal was to win all 4. We went 3-1, which we'll take, but it's really setting us up, playing against those 2 teams, really setting us up for down the road as we move into conference.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So kind of with today's world of college, obviously, there's a lot of movement here and there in between the off seasons. You have 17 returning players you had in your team last year. So what's kind of the impact of having that big of a return, especially with the portal the way it is today?
Yeah, I think having so many returners is important, right? I think having the returners will allow us to be able to implement more things that we want to dive into from a baseball standpoint, from an environmental standpoint, and then it allows them to feel comfortable to create their own culture. We talk about environment and culture being two completely different things. So they've already come up with their little motto, which is really cool, and we got to experience over the last couple of weeks that team motto. So having those returners allows the ability for them to have true ownership. And not only are they allowed to have true ownership, but these returners are able to give that ownership off to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. So we're very fortunate to have a lot of returners from last year. Many of them didn't get to play last year because of the injuries, but now they're healthy, and we're excited to have them and have them back. And so it should be a good year. We're going into the 26th season. We'll have a lot of players back again. So being able to sustain players that want to continue to be a part of Texas Wesleyan baseball, want to be a part of our program, and get an education is really impactful for our growth as a program.
Oh, absolutely. So of kind of the 17 players or even some new fresh faces that you've had come into the program, have there been any leaders that have kind of emerged, and what have they brought to the table?
Sure. So there's leaders all across our baseball program. So they all lead in many different ways. I look at the way certain people lead just by the way they play. Look at how people lead just by the way they go about their business, how they are in the classroom. There's vocal leaders. So we've got a lot of leaders on our team that are able to impact our program in many different ways. So, Dylan Masanda kind of does it all. He's a verbal leader. He leads by the way he plays, by the way he works, and in the classroom. Eric Deonda is a verbal leader. And then you've got Logan Silvertooth, who just goes about his business, keeps his mouth quiet, and works hard and plays hard. So there's lots of leaders within our program that we like, and we need that, right? Those leaders are able to be vocal. Those leaders are able to establish a certain way of doing things, and that's what's important when it comes to championship baseball. Every championship team that I've known or been a part of, there were people in place that were able to lead on and off the field.
Absolutely. So a few weeks ago, the coaches poll came out for the SAC, in which y'all were kind of in fourth place for the projected rankings. February 21st, you guys played Nelson to start your conference play. What's kind of that mentality, seeing, hey, we're projected fourth, where do we go from here kind of thing?
Yeah, the ranking was basically based off of last year's ranking.
Right.
So, I kind of talked a little bit about the motto of this year's group is, it really is, this team doesn't care. We don't care. We don't care what's happened last year. We don't care what's going to happen down the road. We only care about what's happening now, and really having our feet planted in the right now and having mindfulness of what's going on right in front of us. We don't lose sight of what's in front or what's behind, but we are so focused on right now. So what that ranking means to us, it means nothing. And that's the way it is for all the teams in our conferences. Whatever ranking, preseason ranking, doesn't mean anything until the new ranking comes out. So this group is really focused on each day. This group is really focused on each other and doing something special. So as we go into this year and really into conference play, their focus is really about each other and having mindfulness of the right now.
Absolutely. So obviously I'm not a coach, so this is a big movie thing. But a lot of people talk about, they circled this one, everything. So is there a series in which, circled it and said, hey, I got to win this?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a series in which we circle it and say we got to win this. I think every game's important, especially when you play 50 games. There's not a lot of ability to recover from certain games. If you lose against a subpar team, it's going to affect you. And if you win against a ranked team, that's also going to affect you in a positive manner. So each game's important to us. I would think for me as the coach here, I kind of circle games in which I'm really good friends with the opposing coach because I think it's important that we're able to fellowship with each other. We're able to communicate with each other and talk with each other about how to improve our teams and kind of some of the difficulties that we've had, or maybe the positive things, so we can able to throw things back at each other. So I really enjoy talking with Keith Lytle and talking about his family, and we talk about how his wife makes the breakfast burritos in the morning for the teams, and the green chili that she has with the eggs and bacon and the sausage. So it's stuff like that that's important to me that I can't wait to really experience with the other coaches. And Brad Neffendorf is a good friend of mine, and we play those guys twice. So being able to be on the field with Brad and just talk to him and how we communicate with each other weekly, it's having that fellowship and that bond is so important for us as coaches and really as men, right? We need to have fellowship as men to be able to talk to each other. So for me, those are some of the ones that I circle because I look forward to seeing my friends face to face and being on the same field. But from an actual game standpoint, every game's important.
Yeah, absolutely. So last question for you, just for a bit of fun here.
Yeah.
So if you could be a character in any movie franchise, TV show, whatever it may be, what would you pick and why?
If I could be a character in any movie,
like any movie franchise. Or any like TV show, whatever it may be.
Yeah. So there was a movie that was out, and I don't know what it was rated. I have no clue. But as a kid, I always loved baseball movies. That was a big thing for me. If there was anything baseball related on TV, whether it was a music video, a movie, a commercial, I was all in on it.
Okay.
There's a movie with Richard Pryor, and it was called Brewster's Millions. And he was in charge of having to spend $1 million in order to inherit something down the road. So for once, I wouldn't mind having $1 million and being able just to spend it and spend it and spend it and spend it just to see what it feels like to be able to do something like that. So that would be kind of cool while he's playing baseball, while he's having a team, to be able to spend $1 million in a certain amount of time. So that would be really cool.
Do you have a strategy if that were to happen?
I'd give a lot of it away.
Okay.
That would be the first thing that I would do. I would help pay off anything and everything that the people close to me needed help with. And then I would hopefully try to find, charities or something like that and just give it away, right?
Oh, yeah.
Having $1 million is something that would be really cool to have personally. However, being able to bless other people with that probably would be more beneficial than anything that I could ever buy for myself or for my family. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, Bobby, that's all I have for you. I appreciate your time today. So thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next time.